Okay.
According to my neighbors, 92.6% of all Americans will be on the run. I'm here to help you when this crisis comes. The few law-abiding citizens we have in this room, and from the looks of you, there aren't many, might be thinking, hey Sarah, this kind of advice is not only illegal, it's inappropriate. Well, let me tell you, mama's boys, goody two-shoe girls, that with prison overcrowding so common, I'm actually doing you taxpayers a favor. I mean, if you threw all of us criminals to prison, there wouldn't be any politicians left to run the country. So, you're welcome. I'm sure most of you already know how to commit a crime. And if you don't, all you have to do is watch virtually any primetime television show, and you'll quickly learn how to sell meth or kidnap the president's daughter. It seems to me where most of you need help is after the crime. So today we're going to discuss the 3 most important elements when finding yourself on the run. We'll begin by making a clean getaway from the crime. Once we're safely away, you'll learn how to lay low for a while and not attract attention to yourself. Like that guy over there. He's just screaming, "Arrest me." Finally, when all else fails, you'll learn when it's time to give yourself up. I'll help you determine when that is. At this point, I'd like to excuse those I might not be helping. If you've never been on the run, or don't think you'll ever be, please get up and leave this room, as the following won't be important to you. So a room full of criminals, all right. Now, after we've committed the crime and wiped the crime scene down so those morons at NCIS don't have any evidence against you, it's time to get the heck out of there so don't get locked up with Manson and his clan. Sometimes, though, those pesky officials in blue show up just before you get away. So tip number 1, remember, they have a taser. When running for arrest, always run in a zigzag motion or you'll take one in the back. Most police officers are not good shots and can't hit a moving target. Too many donuts. But if you're running in a straight line, you might as well be standing in a bucket full of water flying a kite during a lightning storm. Trust me, if you get hit for one of those things, you'll need a new phone and a new pair of whitey-tidies. And don't run with your tongue out. My friend Silent Bob could tell you all about that hazard. Well, actually, he can't. The next important tip when running from the police is to always take a slower counterpart with you. By the time the blue shirts catch up to one of you and their donut-deformed bodies, they're in no shape to take out a second conspirator. If you notice that your criminal counterpart has a surprising burst of speed, push them down. People laying on the ground are much easier targets for the taser. As a final precaution, once in a while, the police will bring dogs. Multiple dogs. This can be a major hazard, and the only way to solve it is to think ahead. Always slip a milk bone or Scooby snack in the pocket of your co-conspirator prior to the crime. This not only protects you from the dogs, but it's even funnier than watching your buddy get hit by a taser. It gets me every time. Now that we've evaded arrest, it's time to lay low for a while. Sometimes you can't get back to your safe house right away, so you're getting in a makeshift hiding area until the police give up looking for you. From experience, here are the areas not to hide. It may seem like a good idea to hide in a cow pasture. It's not, particularly after dark. Inevitably, when the police car comes by and you hit the ground, you'll also hit one of the many cow pies in the field. In the past, I slipped into an open garage and found a big metal box to hide in. This, too, is a very bad idea, as big metal boxes in open garages are typically freezers. Thank goodness old Mrs. Henderson had a hankering that night for a chicken pot pie, or I was a goner. Another tempting place to hide behind are these little houses that you find in people's yards. Usually these are behind fences, and that makes you feel doubly safe. This is fool's gold, I tell you. These houses have big, four-legged owners, and they do not like company. Avoid these traps at all costs. As you work your way back to your main hideout, make sure you put some thought into your longer-term safe house. This decision is key to your success while laying low. Pick places that have heat. particularly in winter. Avoid churches, as the people that inhabit these places tend to squeal on you, especially if they catch you drinking from one of their water stands or warming yourself up by lighting all the candles. Unfortunately, there are lots of great places to hide that won't attract attention to you. Visit Grandma. I don't care how terrible of a crime you've committed, Grandma won't believe it. She probably doesn't even call you by the right name, so your identity is safe. Pretend you're an employee at an Alzheimer's ward. Does this really need an explanation? Hideout on Wall Street. Apparently, this is utopia of hideouts, as whatever you've done, the people that work there done a whole heck of a lot worse, and they never go to prison. Well, these are all great places to not attract attention to yourself. There are a few rules you need to follow while you're hiding out. Don't tweet about your cool hideout to your friends. Don't egg the police station or put a flaming bag of dog poop on the sheriff's front door. And whatever you do not marry a Kardashian. So let's pretend that for whatever reason you don't heed my advice and things haven't gone well for you. I know that giving up isn't in your vocabulary, kind of like the words intelligence, conscience, or virtue, but we must face the fact that there may be a time when giving yourself up is the best option available. Now, I certainly don't advocate for this, but there are far worse things than 3 square meals a day and picking a gang affiliation to protect you from your fellow inmates. I think you should draw the line and turn yourself in when you have to drink your own urine or use any other Bear Grylls techniques to survive. If you hear the word drone associated with your search, the gig is up. If you're wandering into Iowa, turn yourself in immediately. Any state that begins the process of electing our national leaders simply cannot be trusted. So hopefully if you heed my advice, you won't fall into the clutches of the man during your crime spree. Now you know how to make a clean getaway from the crime, how to lay low for a while, and lastly, we know when it's time to give yourself up. I hope I've done some good for you today. Lindsay Lohan and Charlie Sheen would be proud of your behavior.